Hi.
Cool.
Guys.
Cool.
Guys.
Stockholm.
Finland. Moscow.
Guys.
Born in Cologne.
So
it's not like
We didn't.
Cool.
guys.
Playing.
Online.
Many people.
Playing from home.
Game by game.
Place clan ready.
The Cloud9s,
the favorites, but online.
they had very good
Plan
already.
big.
Bad boys.
Gonna go.
To the fridge, get some food.
I promise. DreamHack gonna be good.
All the highlights of yesterday wouldn't do the justice to the amount of Counter-Strike that we have watched here within the DreamHack Masters Spring 2020. Today being no different, except it is a very special day. It is the last day of groups, the absolute last day of groups. We've already seen G2, Big, and FaZe find footing and success alongside of Furia and 100 Thieves, and now we're looking to send just one more team into the playoffs. And you're wondering, well, Trace, where did you get this tuxedo from? Amazon, straight up. Anyway, so we're going to be going on into these games. Before you know it, 3 best of 3s coming your way today, so make sure you stick around. You want to catch them all, and the only way to do that is by watching here and watching now. Welcome back, everybody, to the DreamHack Masters Spring 2020. I'm Trace. Alongside of me are my gang, or my colleagues, I should call them. We've got Halvor in the middle. We got Jacob on the right. And if it may be mirrored for you, I don't really know. It doesn't really matter. As long as you know that a lot of Counter-Strike is coming your way today. And that is one thing that I can be assured that the two of you are looking forward to.
Definitely. I think it's going to be a great game of Counter-Strike. We got the 3 groups we need to finish out, Trace. We got the 3 teams that would potentially have to send through or send home. So everything should be nice and lined up for today, especially the first game here. I look very much forward to that one. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, it's still excitement over in Group C as well. We're going to get to see Godsent, just try to stay alive in their group. They're going up against probably the biggest surprise team so far, and Team Spirit, which is going to be really, really fun. I've just been having a lot of fun really watching that Spirit team with Mir and Chopper back to old shenanigans.
Yeah, we even heard Simple talking a little about that Spirit yesterday. Even he's exciting that, hey, I don't mind watching an eye disbalance demo. It does make sense. But of course, our games that we're going to be covering right here, let's just be exact. Let's be concise. Let's be precise, moreover. That we've got Nip Ints to start things. Godsent Spirit is our second game. And then we're looking at Gen G Cloud9 to round out the day with the other crew. So moving forward, guys, what is our big takeaway from the groups overall? I don't want to talk, individually speaking, but what is the one thing that is, without a doubt, standing out to you about the group play?
I think Big's performance to me in Group B was kind of a surprise, and I think Mousesports in the same group going 0-3 is a big surprise. They, according to themselves, they had a good week of practice coming into this tournament. They've been in a strugglesome period. They didn't do well in Road to Rio, and now coming into this one, this was supposed to be their chance of making it all good again. And they went 0-3 in Group B, was Big, as I said, went 3-0. So to me, that's the 2 biggest surprises. Of course, Astralis with all these Rustamania moves, we don't really know what's going on over there. So maybe not the biggest surprise. They only finished second. But apart from that, I think we see a lot of the teams just playing some solid Counter-Strike. FaZe Clan as well going 3-0, Halvor. I think that has to be the main takeaways, that we have Big and FaZe Clan both going 3-0 in both the groups.
Yeah, FaZe with the lineup change, showing that that's not necessarily going to slow them down. And I guess you mentioned one sort of disappointing result from Group B, and I think we can potentially lean towards the same in Group C with Fnatic as well, not necessarily just being already secured for that second stage. So yeah, some of the, I guess, assumed favorites not necessarily delivering to full potential, but again, we're seeing some of the teams that we might have expected to struggle a little bit more actually do pretty well for themselves.
Yeah, and that's one thing that we're watching right now. I think where we really need to start to center our focus might be around what this Ints Vitality game was yesterday, or rather lack of a game. Vitality absolutely come in here and smash the living daylights out of Ints, and I'm talking about 15 rounds over 2 maps for the Finnish side. That's not pretty.
That's not pretty at all. And Saivu showed it yesterday that he's still a player to be reckoned with. That AWP, we get to see it right here. He was on fire, especially on Mirage, where he was hearts out the best player. Apex as well, having a good showing, especially on Dust 2, right? He wasn't that well playing on Mirage, I'd say, but on Dust 2, he was being very versatile. He was being very aggressive. RPK as well with the AK-47. I guess you can compliment all the players from Vitality yesterday. As you said, Trace, they just made Ents look like a really, really bad team. And that frag right there from Saivu, I don't even know what's going on, man.
Halvor, what was your take of that game? What was your take of just the absolute smashing that Vitality's delivering? More over their form. I'd rather talk about the positive form of Vitality than the negative of the other.
Yeah, no, for sure. Again, I was a little bit uncertain of where I wanted to put Vitality, if it was a flash in the pan, their first game versus NIP, because NIP obviously went through a lineup change, so you never really know how much you can put stock from that kind of a result. But yeah, again, just positively surprised from beginning to end from what the Vitality delivered. It's like Jacob said, you can actually go through 1 through 5 and actually compliment all the players for being able to deliver. And that's not necessarily been the case, for Vitality. They've usually had a couple of players not necessarily being live up to their actual level. So this is, a great time for Vitality, and it should bode really well going forward.
You would think so, but now going forward also is the North American side of things. Now, a team that's not going forward or not going very far within the confines of this group would have to be the Evil Geniuses. My goodness, they have just a horrible time here. They didn't enjoy their Spring Masters of 2020, did they, guys?
No. And I think one thing one thing they can take out of this is the fact that they went out with their heads held high, because even though it started off terribly in their series versus 100 Thieves getting absolutely smacked around on Vertigo, they completely did a 180 and actually played really good Counter-Strike on both Overpass and Nuke. I think Nuke actually, for my money, was probably like a top 2, maybe even the best map of the entire tournament so far.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the numbers right here. You want to talk about you walk out with your head held high. Yeah, you win the series. You got 2 rounds in the first map of Vertigo, and then you go on to win the series. But if your head's held high, you're kind of limping it through. I guess that's some solace on Jacob.
It is, and Evil Geniuses, they needed that win badly. I know it doesn't mean a lot when you look at the groups right here. They're still out of that Group B. They cannot go through no matter what happens in the very last game between Gen.G and Cloud9. But for them to win a game and for them to get the first win under the belt with Zeus as well, in a big tournament like this, it means a lot to them, especially against, I would say, well-playing Thieves. They've been looking quite solid in this tournament so far. You can argue that yesterday against Evil Geniuses, they knew that they didn't play for anything, so maybe the preparation haven't been as serious and maybe the motivation wasn't really up there for the Thieves, but a win is a win for EG, and I think they can be very happy for that.
Yeah, something to put in their pocket as they take out of here. Just something they leave the store with, I suppose. Now, of course, for this side of NA, Furia running the board, and that is a totally different talking piece. In fact, when I start to look at all the talking pieces that we have, I more so want to just focus on our monster moments of week 2. That is the big news of the day, and the monster moments are coming right at you.
Every little wiggle and jiggle gets me a little bit more scared. Now they're going to move in. Brokey with the order. First contact, the lineup. Idis Balance gets 1. He doubles it. A second. Idis Balance shutting it down. He may have been quiet on the CT side, but that is the round.
Brolin trying to tap him down, not really given an angle, and trying to spearhead this retake, looking for Nico, and a convincing tap there to find him. See if they can buzz their way back in to this retake. They swing, they peek, and Brolin shuts them down the first time around. A stellar pistol from Brolin.
Takes a peek, Aerial deals with him. The team flash from Zywoo not really working in. Molly won't stop the park either. He'll put Sergey out, and oh no, that is despicable from Zywoo.
I really like the points that Potter were making, praising Vanity for his input, for his impact on the team. Zeppa, are you kidding me? He's gotten himself 2 kills, a follow-up gush. Oh my goodness, he's gunning for the ace and he takes it! What an incredible play from Zeppa!
Oh no, that is not what you want if you're FaZe player. Head in the hands for Brokey here, man down off.
Down low, we're looking for a bit of a hero in this round for Team Spirit. 16-year-old Magic, well, he certainly looks like he could be the hero. 4 kills in the round.
Them delivered, of course, the Omega Lulls. Those are going to be your Monster Energy moments, and thank you to them for being one of the sponsors, one of the providers here of the DreamHack Master Spring 2020. Now, guys, we look at everything considered, and that's all the groups. We look at all the numbers, and are we satisfied with the teams that did make it through, that did push themselves forward?
I'm satisfied. I would like to see Fnatic, somehow scramble their way through. Of course, it's out of their hands now, but I think that'd be a nice addition for the playoff, just because I think Fnatic, at the later stages of that group stage, showed that they were getting better and better game by game. But apart from that, you gotta look towards Mouse Sports. That's the disappointment. You look towards this Group D. It's not over yet, but like all those 4 teams, could potentially go for a long run in the playoffs. So a super stacked Group D and a Mouse Sports in Group B that just didn't live up to the hype.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really fun to actually follow some of the teams that have, I guess, eked through in both Group A and Group B. Heroic on their end, fairly fresh team, but I think what we've seen out of them has actually been pretty promising. Keep in mind, they were, inches away from beating G2, who ended up winning that group. So we could be looking at a very different result. I think they can still do some damage going through into the playoffs. And I think the same can be said for Mad Lions. They came into this about as rusty as you can get in terms of having played official games and whatnot. They kickstarted, I guess, their season again with the group stage matches. So they took them a while to get into the groove of things. But I think now that they've successfully warmed up and actually made it through to the next stage, they can actually be a team that's going to be pretty difficult to face up against.
Yeah, and that's something we're looking for, is face being shown here within these groups, and at least within these last 3 matches that we have on our stream today. Let's talk a little bit about the games on hand and the schedule as it is. It's going to be starting with Nip and Ints. That's where we're kicking off. The 3 of us will be here for that. Then we have Godsent and Spirit, and then Gen.G and Cloud9. Now, Gen.G, Cloud9 could pack a punch down there at the very end, but honestly, there will be an entire discussion that has to be had about who's going through, who's not going through, and all of that, it should come on the back of the results of these matches rather than in the forerunning.
Yeah, it's gonna be incredibly close, and I think it's been super close in all the group stages, right? There's been a lot of teams that have been fighting it through. Helva said it before. Heroic was inches away from beating G2. Had they done that, G2 would have been out of the tournament before even playing Astralis in the very last game that secured them the first place in the group. It doesn't get much closer than that, and I think DreamHack and this tournament so far has produced a lot of close games and a lot of exciting games, and we rounded all off today with 3 games that all has impact on the group stage.
Yeah, something to keep our eyes on. However, we'll get back in a second. We're going to go to a break. But before we do, I want to make sure to thank all of those that make this very much a reality for all of us, not to include the 3 of us, but you out there, the viewer that are watching at home. You should be thanking these companies for making this happen. And that's going to be Corsair. That's going to be Monster Energy. That's going to be DTS. It's going to be Betway, of course, Intel. And then there's this AT&T where, hey, guess what? Lily, Sarah, hit me up. HMU. We'll be right back after this break, everybody, with our first matchup of the day. It's going to be Nip taking on Int, so make sure you don't go anywhere. We will BRB.